just before we crossed the 550 was when I realized the phone was not recording any of the audio that we had done from the first half of the trail. So I'm sorry about that, but we will have to go back through and do some corrections on that after the fact. The Ouray Perimeter Trail starts just across the road from the visitor center, which is on the north end of town. If you start the Perimeter Trail across from the visitor center, there is a spot to register with the Forest Service. This is something you should do. It mostly just helps them in case of some sort of emergency, like a forest fire, or if people get lost, they have a record of who's been in, with how many people, and where they were planning to go. That way they can narrow down their searching or know who they're looking for. This is a very popular trail in Ouray, especially in the summer. So if you're planning to head out on this trail, you can expect to see lots of other people. The Perimeter Trail is marked just for hikers. There seems to be a lot of off-road activity in Ouray, but they are not allowed on this trail. So there won't be any ATVs or dirt bikes or anything along those lines, just hikers along this trail. This trail connects many different trails together to make one long path around the town of Ouray, which means that there are a lot of entrance points and exit points. So if you ever get tired along the trail, you can find your way down into town from one of the connecting trails. The trail conditions are pretty good. It seems to be a very well maintained trail. It also is quite steep in different areas with larger sort of drop-offs, just because it does get up into the mountains, and the mountains are pretty steep and impressive along this trail. A little less than 2.5 miles into the trail, you will have to cross the 550. And so if you have, especially like for us, we have Bean with us. So if you have pets with you, be especially careful. The cars do drive fast, and just be on the lookout for that. But we're going up. We are now on the Ice Park Trail, and we're going to travel along the gorge. Box Canyon Gorge?
I don't know.
Might be the Box Canyon Gorge. And we're still out of breath, so that's good.
So we're in the Ouray Ice Park now, and every January they have an ice climbing festival here. I don't know very much about it, but I know they have one.
It happens every year. So 3 3/4 of a mile into the perimeter trail, you come to a small pond, which looks like it's probably used for the ice climbing walls in the winter. This is the ice climbing park in this part of the hike. But it's a really great spot. The water's nice and clean. It's really cold, but if you did bring a dog and they like to swim, it's a good spot. Just keep in mind that the dogs might get cold. So the perimeter trail here in Ouray is really beautiful. From the reviews, we thought that it might be a little harder to move from trail to trail, but in fact it's been really well marked. So a little over 4 1/4 miles into the trail, you come to the bridge that covers Box Canyon. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty high up, so be prepared for it. Our dog Bean didn't like the grate that makes up the bridge, so you might keep that in mind when you go to cross. Bean also didn't like the tunnel afterwards. Despite what Bean thought, he thought it was pretty cool.
Well, there is nothing quite like a little elevation change to make you feel really out of shape. So if you're from sea level or close to sea level like we are, and you find yourself hiking in altitude, be aware that you'll probably be out of breath. Take your time, give yourself a chance to catch your breath, take lots of breaks, and make sure to drink a lot of water. So we have exited the perimeter trail via the old Twin Peaks trailhead. If you want to continue and make it a complete loop back towards the visitor center, you can travel along some of these roads. And I gather from what I've read on some other blogs that there's some really cute old homes along the way, and so it might be worth the trip. We are going to head into town and get some food to fill our bellies. So we are done at this point. We've hiked about 5.5 miles with maybe around 1,000 feet of elevation change. We'll give the exact number in our blog.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video and you want to follow along, please consider subscribing, liking, or following.
Thank you.
Thank you.